Okay, hi everybody, welcome. I'm uh I'm gonna be on this cam today, this unflattering phone cam because my webcam is broken. But I wanted to just come on here today and say hi, and I wanted to say thanks to my subscribers who have followed me. I really appreciate the quality over the quantity with you guys. And I hope that my little presentations are entertaining for somebody. But I'm going to continue with these, with this sort of public record. I wanted to sort of like let you guys know, I know I've been kind of wishy-washy about this whole alien and UFO thing because I didn't want to talk about it for a while there. And so I am going to be making videos about that, but I have other content that's on the back burner too that's coming. So for those of you who are not interested in this subject, I completely understand. Today I kind of just want to do a little recapitulation about this and then continue in my next video about all of this UFO and disclosure news that's going on. And I apologize for the background. This is kind of the best lighting I can get. And I'm alone now, and I'm here on, today is Canada Day, and I've just been sitting here all sweaty, and I've been at this all day. So I really just kind of wanted to go over this again and clarify a few things. I've never pushed my views about aliens and UFOs on people because, I mean, where does that get you? And I can't believe the level of dumbing down and disinfo. I really can't. That's why I kind of just wanted to walk away from this subject. But there's just disinfo artists out there at it all the time about this. And I just don't understand. I just think it's like, after so many years, I've been at this for 24 years, like I just have no interest in most of the UFO community. There's some people who post some good videos, and when they find good UFO footage, they post it. But there just seems to be few and far between of people who are really approaching this the way that I like to approach it, which is like an open-minded, skeptical, discerning. Anyway, overall, I find people are way too sure of themselves oftentimes. And whereas I've come at this from way too much self-doubt, and over the last couple of months, a lot of that has dissolved because I've had some major shit happen. But I want to go back and let you all know this started for me 24 years ago when I lived in Alaska. And one night, it was in 1995, and I woke up in the middle of the night one night, and I was laying on my back. And when I woke up, there was gray aliens standing over me. And then the next thing you know, I woke up and it was the next morning. So I just dismissed it and I thought it was a dream. But then I was walking to work that morning with my roommate, and she was really quiet. And then all of a sudden she stopped in her tracks and she turned and looked at me and she was like, "They came last night, didn't they?" And I was just like, that's when it all started for me. That was the moment I knew it hadn't been. I already knew it wasn't a dream, but I was just dismissing it because it was crazy. And then that was the moment when I knew it wasn't a dream, and it was so awful. It was so intense. And she wouldn't talk about it again for like a year. And so a year later, I was living in Portland, and during the summer of 1996, and sure enough, actually it was a week ago in June, 23 years ago, I met a gray alien in my backyard. And it was definitely connected to the aliens in Alaska, but this time it was friendly. When I was in Alaska, the gray aliens were not friendly. They were not warm and fuzzy. But this guy was friendly. And he showed up in my backyard. He made a sound that was out of this world. It was the most bizarre sound I've ever heard. It was unmistakably, like, it was like really hard. It's really hard for me to see how that could have happened. It was definitely not a hallucination. And frankly, there's been so much that's gone on since then to validate it. It's just been really, it's amazing to me that they did that. But they did it in the way they did it because it's almost like they were going out of their way to make sure that I would have multiple data points, so that this was not just nebulous, right? This was very in-person. And I made videos back in 2012 about all of this. It's still on my old Queenbeebrightly channel. It's all connected. All my channels are connected. And so I've made a lot of videos about this, but I kind of have held back because, first of all, I don't want to be used. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to make assumptions. I don't want to spread disinformation unwittingly either. And I certainly don't want, I really have been genuinely wanting answers more than anything, and I don't really care how they come. I need the truth. This hijacked my life a quarter of a century ago. It didn't ruin my life, but it's been an issue. Okay. So all of that's happened, and this has gone on for a really long time. And then this year in March, I got to that point where I was inspired by that Project Blue Book TV show because of just the ambiance of it, and I made that UFO Gaslight video. But I also made that video because you know, my intuition told me, and my contact told me, that this UFO issue was going to be a thing. And I really just realized, I'm like, I want to come out, I want this to unravel. And so, you know, I don't go around telling everybody that I have a gray alien contact named Gooby Chopper, because it's just, I know how it sounds. I do. And this process has been very lonely, except for Gooby's kept me company, right? But most of my interaction with this guy has been telepathic, and we have to have complete discernment and skepticism about any kind of telepathic information, right? And yet, so much of it has turned out to be accurate. And so, right after I made those two videos, the UFO Gaslight and the AI Audit video, right after that, Gooby Chopper tells me that there's been a regime change among the gray aliens. I'm like, okay. So right after he tells me there's been a regime change among his kind, suddenly this UFO news goes mainstream when in the middle of April, Politico broke that Navy story about them changing their UFO reporting policy, and suddenly UFOs are mainstream news ever since. And it's not letting up. They're keeping it in the news. And I'm going to talk about that in my next video, really. But to me, that was fascinating. So there's been a lot of little things like that, and that's really what I want to tell you about. And there was also this whole process that I went through where Gooby was pointing to somebody who's in the intel world. Anyway, long story short, you know, he was talking about people that he admires. I really think there's something going on now with the military and these gray aliens that is changing things. And I'm hoping that some of these good people are trying to hijack this new world order that was planned. This control system that was planned, aspects of it are definitely being thwarted. And there's definitely a collective effort, and I think a lot of it's not even conscious. I think a lot of people are just starting to sense that, you know, we'd better shift gears here, or we're going to be at the butt end of a control system that sucks. So anyway, all of that happened. And I went through this process where it was like I went through an intuitive detective process, and it all led back to that message that I got on the receipt last year. Yeah. And it's all friendly enough, right? But it's all still a lot of gaslighting and trolling. And I'm like, what is going on around me? What is going on? Anyway, So none of this is really doing my life any good, except I will give Gooby credit for the fact that he has given me information that has been really useful in regards to my self-care and health and healing process. So that was nice of him. But they don't tell me everything. And in fact, what I've noticed with the Greys is it almost seems like they purposely maybe give me a crumb so that I go on my own exploration process, make up my own mind about it, and then they talk to me about it, right? And that's kind of what happened with this intuitive detective process. And I'm wondering, I know nobody's saying anything to me directly since then. Nobody has contacted me or said shit to me, so. But I'm starting to know the score. Like, I think I'm actually being listened to, maybe. Maybe this is actually worth my while, but it is, because it's a process I need to go through for me. And so, you don't see me getting on here talking all about my contact, like making it a cult of personality, and you certainly won't see me channeling an alien, right? Because I don't understand people who do that. If you can talk to an alien telepathically, or any entity, if you can talk to them, why would you channel them, right? Like, these people, I'm not talking about impersonation. I'm talking about like channeling as opposed to impersonation, right? And like with channeling though, with real channeling, the person is, their conscious mind is getting out of the way, and this other entity's energy or soul is entering their physical body and riding their nervous system in order to animate their body, right? And to me, that's a sexual act. If somebody else's energy body is riding your nervous system, like, to me, that's a sexual act. So, number one, I think channeling is way too intimate. Number two, what's the point? Well, theatrics. Every time these people are channeling aliens, they're like, channeling the alien, because the alien is so always like, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's so dubious, and it's just for theatrics. That's all it is, and I question the motivation. I question it. Because you could just relay what they're saying, it's just not as dramatic. So, it's the whole, yeah, you know, like, I can't even express how much all of this is just, like, so disgusting and boring. Like, I just got really fed up with the UFO world, because those kind of people that channel that shit, those are the people that get all the views. And then the problem with these dynamic presentations is it's all about anchoring the audience, right? And they anchor you in these thought forms, and suddenly you will fully believe something that you have not fully thought about in your head, and you have not really discerned the logic of it. You'll just buy into it because they got you with that anchoring and that emotion and that entrainment. And that's what I see with a lot of these kind of subjects, is there's no truth seeking. It's not a real effort towards getting to the truth. It's almost like this effort towards getting to, if I can convince enough people that I just spoke the truth, hey, that's good enough for me. That's absolutely what I see in these people. And a lot of it is the New Age community. I haven't even begun. I have this video coming that's like an indictment of the New Age community and their narcissism. It's so awesome. But I just haven't gotten to that yet. So my next video is going to be about this whole UFOs in the news and all this talk of disclosure. I'm going to go there with this stuff. I'm going to see where it all goes. I'll tell you guys what I think. I may be right or wrong about any of the details of what I'm saying. And I'll just try to keep it as clear as possible as I go along, right? And eventually, maybe some real stuff will happen here. And I'll get more answers. But meanwhile, I hope you all have a lovely, lovely evening. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.